Paul Heyman on TNA, because ECW launches this month, I believe.
Shut up. This motherfucker.
So ECW launches on Sci-Fi this month, and there's a bunch of talk. Obviously, Paul Heyman is quote-unquote leading it, but Vince is really leading it. But Paul Heyman, he did a bunch of media rounds, and of course they asked him about TNA, and here's what he had to say about TNA. I don't think TNA is even a consideration. I don't think TNA is even a consideration to anyone in this industry. I wish that they were, but the problem with TNA is they never branded themselves.
He's not wrong there.
They took a bunch of guys, whether they had legitimate gripes in WWE, it doesn't matter. They took a bunch of guys who came on TNA, and instead of saying, this is my opportunity to brand TNA, this is my opportunity to create a new style, all they would say is, I've been held back. I wasn't given an opportunity. I didn't get this. I didn't get that. And now I'm going to have it. You know, nobody cares if you've been held back. People want to be entertained. I feel like
there hasn't been a massive part of TNA's identity at this point.
No.
Like, there's definitely been a little of it, but like I don't feel like it's been a giant part.
And like some people will do it. No. Some people will do it in like their first promo.
Yeah, like they'll do a little, but it's not like it's a constant thing, which again it will become.
It's not like Rhino's character now is I was held back in WWE.
No.
He's just doing a mid-card program with Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
And like Christian maybe does a little bit more of it. Maybe he's making more of a direct critique of Christian here.
Yeah.
But also, like, Christian's not really that on the whole.
No.
Back to Heyman. It's like if Sylvester Stallone doing a Rocky movie and saying, you know, I wanted it to be a different script. Who cares? Screw you. Entertain me. Which I feel like ECW did a bunch of this shit as well, by the way.
They made a lot of it was them mocking the other companies, was it?
What they do in TNA is sit there and moan about their WWE experiences instead of selling you on the TNA experience. Another thing they did in TNA wrong, in my opinion, is they didn't brand their new stars to be stars. They didn't make Samoa Joe their star. They didn't make Abyss their lead star. They should have taken these guys and branded them so that they are TNA stars. Kurt Angle is not going to be the same Kurt Angle in ECW that he was in WWE.
What a name to play out the fucking hat.
I do love that in his direct point, it's like, TNA, they didn't make their own new stars. ECW, Kurt Angle. For both the reason that he goes to TNA in like 4 months, and also Kurt Angle in TNA was so much better than Kurt Angle in ECW.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle in ECW is the same as Kurt Angle in fucking SmackDown. Get over yourself, Paul. They're going to be ECW branded stars, not WWE retreads, and moaning about the fact that Vince McMahon didn't give them the opportunity they felt they deserved. So there you go. That's Heyman's current thoughts on TNA, in which there, as always, is a kernel of truth buried in a pile of hypocrisy.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Heyman just being a WWE shill is such a disappointing arc for that man's career.
Yeah.
And like, fair enough, he's made a fuckload of money.
Yes.
So who am I to say that this man who has attached himself to the top act in this company for 20 years now is wrong, and I am better and smarter than Paul Heyman, because he attached himself to Brock and he attached himself to Roman and he made a fuckload of money. So good on him. And Punk, yes. All of the guys. But
so, like,
God,
he's a grifter, but he's just like grifter in a different way.
Yeah, and like it's the same thing. It's like he didn't mean it when he was selling you that bullshit in the 90s, you know, that counterculture, we're going to take down WWE. He was grifting you then as much as he is now. It's just a different grift now.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, like, a grifter's gonna grift.
And it is pro wrestling. It is an industry of grifters.
It is an industry built on grifting.
It is the foundational core. They are all carnies. Jeff Jarrett says that Paul Heyman needs to worry about what he has on his hands in WWE and not worry about TNA's identity.
Fucking earned.
He's got a lot in his hands right now, Jarrett told Between the Ropes Radio. Vince McMahon is running ECW. He's going to run the show up there. Vince is very successful. He's going to make ECW successful in spite of Paul, says Jeff Jarrett.
Okay, well, you were almost there.
He is being a little bitter, like, fuck you, Vince is going to turn ECW into the success you could never make it. And Vince didn't.
Yeah, you were almost there. You almost had the right own when you could have just said, you're not even running the show.
Yeah, you're Vince's bitch. Get over yourself.
But no, he had to turn it into sucking off Vince McMahon. Because everyone in this industry has to suck off Vince McMahon constantly.
And Paul will be gone from ECW within 6 months.
And don't worry, any day now he's going to show up on TNA and save the company.
I can't wait to get to that in 2010. So if you remember, moments ago, gave out about Samoa Joe not being the star of TNA. Early indications are the Best of Samoa Joe DVD is off to the fastest start in the sales of any DVD in the company to date, which speaks volumes since that would mean they've somewhat created a star, since they produced DVDs on established names like Raven, Jeff Hardy, as well as the Final Resolution DVD that just came out with Sting's Return, and Joe's DVD is outperforming all of them.
Yeah, well, probably helps, right, that he comes from a background where people bought DVDs to see him.
Yeah.
His fan base is a fan base that buys DVD.
Especially when you think about, like, the Spike audience, which, like, Joe has been around for most of the Spike era, but, like, the Unbreakable match is pre-Spike. So if you, like, started watching TNA on Spike, and you see the Samoa Joe guy, and you hear about the Samoa Joe guy, and you hear about this legendary Samoa Joe match, but you didn't watch it because it was on pay-per-view the month before TNA started on Spike, you'd be like, let me get that DVD. I want to see that match. So it's been 12 hours since we recorded the news, and I've been thinking the entire time about that Paul Heyman quote.
Okay, yeah.
Because Liam took a break overnight. We often do that. We do the news separately from Broad Topic sometimes. And I was like, that whole Steve Austin character, when he left WCW, was all about him going on ECW TV and being like, Eric Bischoff's a cunt, and that was terrible.
They didn't let me be a star because they were too busy focusing on the old guys.
And then fucking Paul Heyman turns around and is like, oh, TNA do that too often. Ooh, what a fucking bitch. Bootlicking bitch.
I was thinking about, like, the fact that, Stone Cold had that gimmick. Yes, like, last night when we were talking about it, I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they did that stuff a lot.
Yeah, because I threw it out that, like, oh, they did that stuff too. But then I was like, fucking, they brag so much about the Steve Austin presentation in ECW, even though he was only there for like 6 weeks, and it was all this shit. Fuck you.
Yeah. Brian Pillman and the pencil.
Yeah, fucking, it's all like that. You counterculture piece of shit, and then being like, oh, WWE is good, I'm gonna lick their boots. And then, like, Vince is out, and then he bows to the altar of Triple H as well, the sycophantic piece of crap.
Didn't he make, like, his WWE Hall of Fame induction all about Triple H?
He did. He's such a politicking, bootlicking, hollow shell of a carny.
The words of Garrett Kidney.
I've been getting mad at Paul Heyman all day.
That's all you've been able to think about.
I could have just not addressed it. We could have just moved seamlessly into the broad topics, but no, I was been stewing fucking Paul Heyman.
Yeah.